Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is a wonderful day in the land of the living. Bless His name. Thanks be to God that we're each alive and we're able to be here. And I just want to greet you in the name of God. And before we begin, I always start out a session with a word of prayer. So please join me as I pray. Father, Lord, I want to thank you so much for the breath of life. Thank you for your many blessings. And thank you for the privilege of being here today. We are here to celebrate women who have embarked on a journey. And it is this amazing breath of life that you've given us, this amazing passion, this amazing enthusiasm for the things that we do that you have given us. Thank you, Father Lord, for the strength, and thank you for allowing us to be here. Father Lord, those of us who may not be on right now and who are trying to get on, help them get through quickly. And Father Lord, I ask that you bless everyone here and let us have a wonderful day. In your Son Jesus Christ's precious name, amen. Okay, thank you so very much for engaging me in prayer. And now we're about to begin our virtual orientation day. I will be sharing my screen with you shortly, but just a few things that I need to mention. The virtual orientation day event is basically the start of a wonderful journey in the lives of 32 wonderful women. These 32 wonderful women enrolled in the Dream to Reality Professional Business Training course, as you see with the banner behind me. I'm hoping that you can see it. And these women have basically decided to embark on a journey for their professional lives as well as for their business, because they have recognized that there is something more that can be done and there's more learning that they would like to have so that they can help themselves, and by a lot of persons who really added that to their application, the community. And this is nothing short of something natural that God has given us, that nurturing component of a woman to want to help others. So we have this movement called Women Who Support Women. And for this reason, we have several women here who are going to serve as speakers. We also have women who will be serving as mentors after you have completed the first phase of the course. Now, for those of you who do not know, this is the second installment of this course. The very first saw 40 ladies enrolling and 31 of them completing the course within the stipulated date. Now, what we're saying is that you're not on a journey to be left behind. You're on a journey where you will have someone to support you throughout the journey for the first 2 years of your business. And that is the guaranteed promise that we're going to be giving you. Whether it be through the mentors that you have now, or whether it be through my assistance and the assistance of partner agencies, you will receive the assistance that you need for your business. Okay, so no longer will you feel left alone in the dust. No longer will you feel that you are all alone. You are not alone. We are here for each other. This is basically the biggest support system of women in St. Lucia to date right now. And you ladies are now a part of it. So this second installment saw several other women enrolling again and are now being introduced to this wonderful network. Some of you have already joined the network on Facebook, and those of you who have not joined, that is those on the call right now, I really implore you to join this network of women so that you can understand and see how we engage and what we share with each other. And without further ado, I am going to share my screen with you. Please let me know when you can see it, and we shall begin. So just by a raise of hands, just let me know when you'll be able to see my screen. Just let me know when you can see it. Okay, one moment. Something happened here. One moment. There we go. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay. So, dream to reality. So, the dream to reality theme for this installment of the course is repurpose, retool, redeploy your dream. And this is, of course, the professional business training course, virtual orientation day that you are all part of. Now, who am I? For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michelle N. Samuel, and I am a 2017 YLI Professional Fellow, YLI standing for the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative. I am also one of the 28 YLI Ambassadors to St. Lucia. I am also a member of the YLI Network and a 2020 recipient of the YLI Triple E Initiative Grant. Okay, let me just admit a couple of persons there. Okay. So what is Dream to Reality? Dream to Reality Professional Business Training course is a project created by 2017 YLI alumna, that is myself. I created this project for my participation in the December 2019 YLI Entrepreneurs Ecosystem Everywhere Initiative. I know it's a mouthful, and that is where the Triple E comes in, which took place in Jamaica. 30 YLI alumni were selected to participate in this training of the trainers program facilitated by 3-Day Startup. Upon completion of the training, YLI alumni were required to pitch a project which they would then launch and implement on their return home. Alumni would receive a small grant from the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs in order to implement the project. Dream to Reality was my project. Now, in terms of the overview of the course is free. Yes, 100% free. And it is a blended course. What does that mean? It means it is instructor-led and also non-instructor-led. So there are 2 classes that you can enroll in as part of the course. The course is an initiative with a goal to empower women in St. Lucia to fulfill their economic potential. In doing so, they will create conditions for increased stability, security, and prosperity for all on the island. Now, the idea behind the theme, repurpose, retool, and redeploy your dream. Now, again, it is being offered particularly to assist women small business owners and women entrepreneurs who have been adversely impacted by COVID-19 due to either the closure of their business or decrease in their sales or customers. The course is also for women who have become unemployed due to this pandemic, and is also for women who are currently unemployed and who would like to start a business. So basically, it is the course for the now. Okay? Now, the theme is fueled by and also developed by former Priceline CEO and chairman of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, Mr. Jeff Hoffman. With this formula, this training course will equip the women who enroll, that is you ladies here today, with the practical skills needed to reposition yourselves in the market and to sustain your business. This themed initiative is a project of, listen to this, the Awaken the Entrepreneur in You initiative created by me. Now, this Awaken the Entrepreneur in You was an event that we actually hosted a few months ago, with which Jeff was the keynote speaker for. At that event, we discussed what is happening right now with COVID-19 and St. Lucia, and who has been impacted. And then furthermore, what can we do ourselves with the resources that we have to help ourselves and to help others. So in essence, basically, COVID-19 forced us to awaken something that was probably asleep and was there all along. So the whole idea behind repurposing, retooling, and rethinking things and then redeploying it is not just about having an idea or having a business and putting it forward. It is also for the women who have been affected and who would like to now cope with the new normal. So the very phases of this course that you're going to be going through. There are 4 phases of this course. So between June 25th, for when the course officially starts, to July 30th, you will be completing the Dream Builder program, registering on the following networks, that is YLI Network, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, and the Dream to Reality Professional Ladies Network. Okay? Then, what will you learn in Dream Builder, which is the first phase of the course? You will learn what it takes to start your business with courses such as marketing, pricing, management, finance, bookkeeping, and more. With Dream Builder, you will create a personalized business plan that gives you a path to follow. Again, I say personalized business plan. So you will no longer be uncertain or at odds with yourself trying to figure out, how do I put together a business plan? This course helps you to put one together on your own every step of the way. This includes templates for business forms, financial reports, and other useful templates that you can customize to your business. You will discover how to access capital and develop your own personal capital action plan. And that is a document you will get towards the end of the Dream Builder program. Phase 2, which starts from August 2020 onward, is a 3-month mentoring program with volunteers from the YLI Network and representatives from the Dream to Reality partner agencies. Now, the partner agencies I will mention very shortly. In phase 3, that is from October to October 2022, and you're wondering, but why so long? I'll explain. So in phase 3, the ladies of this particular installment will be registering as a participant of the Invest in an Entrepreneur initiative. This is an initiative that was created by me and actually one of first cohort applicants, Mylika Amadi, and it basically helps to dispel the notion that we cannot find our own resources to invest in ourselves. And we can actually invest in one another once we have formed a community in order to do so. So this is what we have available to you and to us. Crowdfunding platform, the Business Susu, and Business Showers. Phase 4 of the course. Oh, and let me just go back to this really quickly. In terms of the 2-year time span, what we're saying is that because this deals with financials, you will be receiving this support for up to 2 years for your business. So that allows you to get traction for that period of time that most traditional lenders ask for when you go to them for funding. Because normally they ask, what have you invested in your business so far? How much have you invested in your business? So now you will have something to show them that you have invested in your business for 2 years up to when you go to them. So that is something that is available to all of you. It is not mandatory, but it is highly recommended. Now phase 4, which is the grand finale. Phase 4 is graduation day. Graduation day is where you ladies, and that means everybody, gets to come together in a room, hopefully by God's grace, and celebrate your achievement. Completing a course that will definitely have you to do some serious introspection and have you to basically see that you are worth something in your community and that you can give back something. You will also be following up with me for up to 12 months after you have completed the program. The course officially ends in December of this year, which is when graduation will be held. Of course, date to be announced. And if in case we are unable to meet together in a room due to COVID-19 protocols, we will be having a virtual celebration. Not to worry, ladies, we will be celebrating you in grand style. Now, let's focus on the ladies who we are here to celebrate. 32 wonderful, phenomenal, courageous women were selected to be part of this course. Many persons applied, but not everybody was accepted. Now let's learn about these women. For the ladies in the instructor-led class, which means that you'll be having classes twice a week with me, 40% of these women came from the retail industry. That is the largest scope, okay, of women that came out of this particular pool of applicants. The second largest came from the creative industries, that is arts, design, media, creative, and beauty. Then the third largest was commercial. These are professional services, business management, legal, marketing. And then finally, the services industry, administrative, secretarial, education, etc. The ladies from the non-instructor led class, these are ladies who will be doing the program on their own, but with assistance from me every week. The largest pie came from, again, the retail industry, online, business to business, business to customers. The second largest was creative. So you can see here, based on the pie, that our largest industries that our ladies are applying from and that are dabbling in with is creative and retail. So this is what we find is more prevalent in the market today. Okay. Now, in terms of the theme itself, repurpose, retool, redeploy your dream. This, as I said, is fueled by a man who created this formula, and his name is Jeff Hoffman. Now, Jeff Hoffman, as I said, is the former Priceline CEO and the current chairman of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. He is also today's keynote speaker, and get this, he has also agreed to mentor you ladies after you have completed the program. Yes, he's agreed to mentor all of you. That is awesome. So I'm just taking this snippet from Inc. magazine that I got online, just reading this out to you. Scaling from the fastest growing internet companies of our time, including Priceline.com and yes, Booking.com, and producing movies, a television show, a Grammy-winning jazz album among the array of experiences that awarded Hoffman with more than a lifetime's worth of business know-how. And yes, that's why I sought him out for you ladies. Now Hoffman applies his wisdom to mentoring entrepreneurs worldwide as the chair of GEN. The global pandemic has resulted in staggering levels of unemployment worldwide and ushered in an unprecedented economic recession. This situation called for Hoffman's unique multi-business vertical expertise to figure out how to help the most severely impacted business sectors. Hoffman shared his 3R framework: repurpose, retool, redeploy, for finding a solution to the problems caused by the COVID-19 crisis. Now, ladies, I, of course, am very privileged to know Mr. Jeff Hoffman. We met last year in April in Bahrain when he hosted the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. And he's a phenomenal man. I mean, yes, look at him as wealthy, look at him as a billionaire, whatever you want to call him, whatever category or tag you want to give him. But he is a man who cares about the small business persons. He's a man who cares about people who are unspoken of, unheard of, and are extremely talented. He loves to travel the world looking for those people who are doing the most in their communities and to bring light to their projects and to them. So this man is giving back in a big way, traveling all over the place to help those who need it and charging nothing for it. And I'm really appreciative to have Jeff on board with me in this program. Now, in terms of getting in touch with me, for those of you who are here and who are currently not enrolled in the program, and to know somebody who may be interested in taking this course, they can reach out to me via email. That is enroll me in ERP. I'll be posting that in the chat, enroll me in ERP @gmail.com. They can also go to the website and also the Facebook page. As I stated, I'll be posting the links in the chat so that you ladies can share with your friends. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point. And I just want to say that I'm really happy to have all of you here with us. But as I stated, I'm not the only person here. There are several other people here who want to share with you their experiences, to introduce themselves to you, And these are ladies that you will be engaging with throughout the duration of the course, whether as a co-facilitator for some of the classes or whether as a mentor. Okay. And the next speaker that I'm going to introduce is Miss Lisa Yard. Now, Lisa was one of our guest speakers for the first cohort, and she is a wonderful, wonderful, phenomenal woman. So in September 2013, Lisa joined the St. Lucia Women Crisis Center as a volunteer, and in November had her first speaking engagement, speaking to women who are and have been in domestic abuse or violent relationships. The event was called Breaking the Silence. She developed a sub-theme called I Am Woman. Lisa has had other engagements, some through the center, others through seeking her own opportunities. One of these opportunities is with a Center for Troubled Teen Girls, where she speaks once a week on topics concerning improving their self-esteem and life choices. Lisa finally started a business named List Value, or List What You Are Worth, geared on life issues, and Lisa believes that women and girls are being treated unfair at home, at work, and even when they are alone. Women and girls' morale are very low by the way they speak, the way they dress, and the way they walk. And I'm sure we can see evidence of that every single day. We need to teach women to love themselves, to love ourselves. And this is Liz Value's opportunity. And I found it was fitting to invite Lisa to speak with all of you, because though you may not say it out loud, I know that there is someone, or maybe more than one of you, who is suffering from low self-esteem or is unsure as to her purpose in this entrepreneurial world, or world at large by extension. But you are not alone. You are surrounded by phenomenal women who support you. And Lisa, I will now turn the floor to you so that you can share with us what we need to hear as women.
Thank you, Michelle. Can you hear me properly, everybody? Well, Michelle did a wonderful job. I should give you the job instead. Okay, as Michelle indicated, yes, my business name is Liz Value. It was derived from my sister, my daughter, and my name also. And of domestic abuse. I was once married, now divorced. And it's because of that situation, I decided to reach out to women, because I realized women in St. Lucia and around the world don't have that active voice that they want to have as men. And most times we wear different hats throughout our lifetime. And every day we have our own little struggles we go through. And sometimes we don't even are able to voice it the way we should. So what I decided to do is to create this business. And as she indicated, yes, I do speaking engagements to practically everyone who needs to have a hair of a voice. That's what I do. I started out with the Uptown Girls Center, started out doing the churches, did my own speaking engagements, got calls, and do have calls actually. I started first with Raise Your Voice and the Women's International Day event, two of them. And that propelled me into doing something better with my life and for other women. The courses that I also engage in is to help women identify their true self, their worth, their value. And whether or not you want to admit or not, doing a business, whether it be private or just going to work, we all have issues. We all struggle with something in our lives that may sometimes hinder our performance, sometimes may hinder exactly what we want to achieve in the long run. So I developed a 12-week course for women, whether they've been abused, just want to talk, they're going through situations at home, at work, privately. And it helps to identify, as I said, the true self. And one of the courses outlined for every week, for 12 weeks, we have introduction to self. Number 2, how do you love? And my favorite one is mirror, mirror, but not on the wall. We have What Really Matters. We have The Selling to Mean Golden. We have the 3 C's, which is cool, calm, and collective. We have How to Express Yourself. We even have The Self-Needed Break. That's to name a few. My courses range from 400 to 1,200. And it is actually set to for 12 weeks. It's 2 days per week. We have group sessions. We have face-to-face for those of us who are very shy. That's understandable. And we have the one which is very popular where women come and we just vent. We vent on our day, whether it be for our work, about ourselves, the neighbor, the country, our children, whatever we want to talk about, we can talk about, but not in a judgmental way. And in that group, actually, we look to other women of our own making to get that solution. So let's say, for example, you had a very bad day for the week. It could be at home, and you're struggling because you do not know how you can speak about it. That's the perfect setting just to come, relax, whether it be a glass of wine, a glass of juice, and we just discuss. And the good thing about my courses, they can be done virtually, so we can have a number of persons at one time on the course. I started doing this virtually before 2013 with a company called Pro Speak Radio. That's an international company, where once a week I would have had a session internationally on the internet. And because of that also, people's reaching out from as far as Australia, it gave me the idea, the best thing to do is to do it virtual. And speaking to Michelle, she decided, let's see what can be done about it. So through her, I'll be giving you all the details. So whoever wants to join with me or join in the courses, I'll put up my email address for you. It's listvalue.women@gmail.com. I'll put it up there for in the chat room where I can see my telephone number also. And as I said, you can email me. We can also discuss what exactly you're looking for, and we can tailor to your needs. I also do installment for those who may not be able to reach out at one-time payment. These ones are available. And as I said, it's a course where it's life-changing. And so far, the objective of this course is actually to help women understand that I'm a woman. I'm the one who created all the leaders in this world. I'm the woman that is able to bring up and bring down. So let us all do what we have to do to make this life a much better place for women, for more smiles, walking better, dressing better, and feeling proud of ourselves. So that's about it. I'll place the email address in the chat so everybody can have a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Lisa, for that wonderful presentation. So those of you who heard, Lisa's services are available. And again, it is actually part of our supplemental courses and workshops that you will get access to after you've completed the very first phase of the course. So yes, you can actually register for and take Lisa's workshop. And we are moving on to our very next speaker. I'm very happy and excited to have her on with us. And her name is Lisa Joahir. I hope I hope I said it right. She's an award-winning communications professional whose experience includes marketing, project management, business, and event management with a strong focus on strategic communication. She received the Dark Horse Award from the Public Relations Society of America, or PRSA, during her time as the chairperson for the DC Marketing and Communications Committee as a result of her commitment and excellence in the field of public relations. Her other achievements include the successful development and implementation of communication strategies for Motion Picture Association of America, whose members include Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, Paramount Pictures Corporation, Sony Pictures Entertainment Inc., 20th Century Fox Film Corporation, Universal City Studios LLC, and Warner Brothers Entertainment Inc. She also successfully executed productions for Carnival Cruise Lines, Princess Cruises, the Caribbean Production Company, Williams, New York, and the Emmy Award company Digital Kitchen, Her work with Digital Kitchen as the island producer for the Good Spirits travel show for Carnival Cruise Lines premiered in April 2017 and featured award-winning LA sensation Matthew Biancaniello. And without further ado, I will now pass the floor on to Lisa Joa here.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that lovely introduction. I was praying, I hope Michelle does not read that whole bio because these young ladies will be falling asleep. But as Michelle said, my background is in marketing and communications. I have a full service marketing and comms agency in St. Lucia called Edge Marketing. A lot of the work that we do has been to facilitate and support clients abroad, but more so, especially now, in the COVID-19 pandemic, we have taken more pro bono cases and also taken up more work locally. And this stems from the same reason as to why I came back to St. Lucia. You know, I was making good money in the US. I had a very good job up there. But, you know, you think about the women, your friends, your family, people that you care about in St. Lucia, and you're not seeing any development whatsoever happen amongst them. Now, Michelle, what you're doing is a very good initiative to be able to empower women. There are a few projects that I have jumped on as well, and I'm really glad that we are doing more of those. For me, my contribution to this lovely course is to serve as a mentor in the marketing and communications capacity. Michelle did mention that you will be able to develop your business plan, but as it relates to the marketing aspect, I am more than happy to assist and provide any advice or counsel that you may require. Just to get your mind working a bit before we have our one-on-one communications, I would like for you to think about what your overall objective is. Have you figured out what your marketing strategy would be like? Some persons have already created Instagram handles, Facebook handles. Some persons are already on social media, but what are some of the challenges that you have experienced? I would love to know that so I can be able to better assist you. As with anything, there must be data, there must be research, and that really transforms every other aspect of a business idea into an actual idea that is now being monetized. You must do your research, you must understand the market, must understand the customer's behavior, whether you are selling directly to a customer, so B2B, B2C, which is business to customer, or B2B, which is business to business, understanding why customers will go for you, what is the competition like, and overall getting a feel of why you can, you know, have an edge above the rest. And that has been the reason for naming my company Edge Marketing, is really to help businesses get an edge above the rest. What makes you unique? Now, most times persons have a business idea and they want to service the entire country, or they believe that their idea, whatever service or business or retail or whatever industry that they enter, can service the entire nation. It is always advisable to find your niche, to find out who exactly will purchase or who exactly will benefit mostly from your product or service. And when you have decided that, then it really helps strategize, helps you to strategize as it relates to how you formulate your brand, how you can make it attractive for that particular market. So whether you go hip if you're attracting the youth, whether you go professional if you're attracting the business community, all of these things you need to focus on and trying to understand what your, I like to call it blue ocean is, because there is a red ocean. It's very saturated. There are a lot of businesses that come up in no time, and you know the statistics show that within the first year to year and a half, 92% of businesses fail. And that really is persons are really trying to do too many things at the same time. But finding your niche will really help you gain a stronger hold on the market. We will talk about your product development. We'll talk about pricing, promotions. Definitely, everybody's on social media, but how to use that to your advantage, and you know, position as the best in your specific area. How do you get customers? How do you build brand loyalty? How do you get them to become ambassadors for your brand, where in turn they can go out there and speak and recommend, whether it be on a text review or word of mouth. That in itself is extremely powerful. Some of you may want to get a little understanding of the digital environment if you decide you want to start off managing your own social media. And I will also help you how to learn how to formulate strategic communication methods where you use certain keywords that will really spark interest, especially online and amongst people. Instead of just broad messaging, we really want to cater to your specific area. So we'll talk digital strategy, we will talk web strategy, whether you will have e-commerce activity happening on your website where persons can come on your website and purchase directly there, or if you're going to have more of a face-to-face interaction of customers online and you drop off your product, or if you'll actually have a store, we'll talk a lot about that. We can even talk a little more about email marketing. For some businesses, this works, not everybody, because a lot of people are moving away from the emails and they're quickly on social media because their attention span is very short with that with a lot of information out there. So it can be overwhelming, but we will be very specific on how it is that we intend to help you transform your business idea, promote it, and be able to monetize. So if you have any questions, you can find me on WhatsApp 715-0032, 715-0032, or you can call or WhatsApp me on 733-1346. That is my company number, Edge Marketing, 733-1346. So we'll have lots of fun, I hope, and please do not feel intimidated by it. People tend to think, okay, I have this idea, I don't know how to get it from one step to the next, but it is not as difficult. The difficult thing is when you try to do everything by yourself. But as we can see in this forum, we have a lot of capable persons who are here to provide advice, to mentor you, to help you get from one step to the next. So please do not hesitate if you have any questions.
Thank you so very much, Lisa, for sharing that information with us. And I'm sure that all the women here who are very much interested in what you just offered will be reaching out to you. Just to make sure that everybody got that, can you please type in your information into the chat so that they can get immediate access to it? And we're going to move really quickly along. In the interest of time, we have another wonderful dynamic woman who I will be introducing. I really got excited when I was referred to her. And when I read about her, I was like, wow, I mean, I have to, engage with this woman. And her name is Essence Lofton. And Essence Lofton is a connector who partners with CEOs, directors, and solopreneurs to grow both their personal and their professional brands using a community approach. Now you see why, right? Essence believes that relationships are what make the difference between a successful business and one that is unable to reach its maximum potential. After spending more than a decade working in the corporate sector, Essence brought the prior learned strategic and analytical skills into the nonprofit space, working with startups. Essence brought the prior learned strategic and analytical skills that she worked with and knows that processes truly drives conversions, demands repeat experiences, and builds a following. It's not about knowing everything. It's about mastering that one thing. It's how well you connect with the pulse of your tribe and the people you're trying to help. It's not simply capturing a customer. It's about being able to communicate your understanding of their needs back to them. And without further ado, I now call upon Essence Lofton to speak with you. Essence?
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys? I don't expect you all to answer, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this network and to learn more about each and every one of you. As Michelle said, I felt initially coming into the startup space that I was not sure that I belonged because I have been in corporate for so long. I worked for AT&T. I did a lot of travel. I worked for the parent company of the University of Phoenix for the longest period of time. And I was the person who would come in and transform underperforming teams and help them to reach goals and move forward and just continue to do that over and over and over again. And as Lisa said, I made a lot of money doing it, but it did not fulfill my spirit. And what I learned that I wanted to do after spending some time working in Guyana and working in Dominican Republic with teams, I didn't like the way that I saw women being treated. It was really hard for me to continue to go to work every day knowing that there was nothing that I can do to change the thought processes of some of the leadership that I work with and how they treated underrepresented cultures of people. And so I decided to take the leap of faith, which I think that you all are doing in some way, shape, or form, and decided to jump into the nonprofit space. I wanted to work with women of color. I wanted to figure out ways that I can help our population really grow and compete with people who weren't in our population. And how do you do that? So I found a company at the time called Digital Undivided, and they worked with early stage founders who had ideas only. They didn't have businesses, they just had ideas. And they wanted to take those ideas and transform them into a business. And so as you all are learning, I'm sure, there are a lot of layers in between the idea to actually creating the business to actually making money. And all those different layers have so many minute pieces inside of them that can be really challenging to navigate. So in my role there, I was in community, which helped me to kind of understand how important it is to have communities around your business. So as Michelle was stating from my bio, you gotta find your tribe. And your tribe are the people who are not just going to support you, but who are going to support you monetarily, like money and buying your product, but they also are going to support you with resources and ideas and challenge you and help to bring other people around you who now will get a chance to know who you are by hearing your story, which is very, very important, and also to bring more customers to your business. So my new company is called Flagship Founders, and we started, myself and my business partner started that off of what we learned at the prior business. It was an incubator, if you're familiar. So incubators typically take early stage founders like yourselves with ideas and help them to kind of level up a bit, get them to a level where people can now understand what they're doing and they can talk about their businesses. My company, Flagship, does a little bit more than that. So we recognize from working there that there's still a layer that hasn't been touched. Our founders here, I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. So our founders here have a whole community of resources available to them, but they don't know or they don't feel comfortable accessing them because they don't know how to show up. And what I mean by show up is there's an expectation that is unspoken that people don't tell them. They want to kind of test the waters and see if people can figure out how they can navigate the space. And we just didn't think that that was a fair approach, and it wasn't helping our community of founders really be successful because it is very intimidating. And so what we decided to do is to start our business focus on very basic foundational steps, which is, one, do you understand the vocabulary that people are speaking to you? Because when you're going to a customer, there's a different way that you speak to them. That's going to be different than the way that you speak to a bank or an investor when you're asking them for money. That's also going to be a different conversation that you have with someone who might be offering you a resource. You have to know what to ask for and how to ask for it in order to get the right things. And so that's what we focus on, is how do we get early stage founders to, one, understand what their needs are, understand how to ask in the proper way for the things that they need, and how do you show up so that people are able to not just take you seriously, but to understand that you are a force to be reckoned with. You know your business better than anybody else, and they need to listen to what it is that you're saying. So that's what my company, Flagship Founders, is about, and that's how we help our early stage founders. So we do one-on-ones with our founders and help coach them at the different levels. We meet you where you are, so you don't have to have 1,000 customers or, $20,000 of sales. But what we want to do is help you look at your data. So similar to what Lisa was saying, we're data focused, and working with me, I'm truly data focused. I believe that data tells a big story, and I encourage and challenge you at the same time to not do specifically what you would like to do, but do what the data is telling you to do. And if you continue to do that, then that's how you do something that we call pivoting. Because as we all have been talking about, COVID-19 has done some unbelievable things to our world. It is something that was unforeseen, unexpected. It's been challenging, and we've had to all learn how to grow through it, or simply just to cope with it. Some days, to be honest, I'm not growing, I'm coping, because it is extremely overwhelming. But when it comes to your business, you have to learn how to pivot. So whatever that original idea was that you had, maybe that's not it right now, right? Because the world has changed. So how do you look at that? How do you take some of your original ideas, and how do you still progress forward moving through it? And so those are things that we talk about. I'm just taking a peek at my notes. We talk about innovating, thinking outside of the box, going to the customers that you had or customers who you were targeting, and figuring out how their needs have changed and how can you best support them. So we talk about community a lot, again, because the tribe is very important. We talk about sharing resources a lot and how those resources are able to help you where you are right now. And then we still talk about future goals. So maybe right now isn't the time to continue on the path that you were going on, just like you were before COVID-19, but it doesn't mean that we still can't work on that goal. Like, it still can be a focus. Right now we have to do some systematic changes just for a moment. So in my conversations, they're very real. They're very upfront. I'm a New York native, so, I think some of that, kind of comes out when it comes to being direct. And, I like to think that our process has worked for a lot of our founders in terms of really discovering who they are now and what they want their businesses to be about, and really just helping you line up some concrete goals and focus on the milestones. It's all about incremental changes and incremental successes that lead to the bigger picture that you see a lot of companies that are successful, that you think are successful, that they're doing behind the scenes. It isn't just, have an idea, get customers, get the money. It's more about everything in between that, and it looks differently for each person and for each business. So the one thing that I'll say is, through this time, I'm sure everybody's positive. The energy has been great since I've been on the call, but continue to stay that way. Don't look at someone else's journey and put yourself in that place. As you go through working with your peers in this group, you'll see different people elevate at different times, and you'll hear different stories about people's growth. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being stagnant. My company isn't doing as well. Oh, I don't have any customers. That's your journey, and that is okay. Slow and steady wins the race, just like someone who just might have some great, I don't want to say luck, but some great opportunities that they were able to take advantage of that had them get from point A to point Z faster than you. So stay encouraged. I look forward to working with you and sharing more in a specific way, customized for your business. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Essence, for sharing all of that with us. And I just want to just let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Essence and I already started connecting on a family level already, family and personal level. And I definitely know that we're going to have some really great connections within or throughout the duration of this course. I can definitely see that. And the women who you will be mentoring will definitely be impacted by your flagship program. I'm really excited to have you on board with us. Thank you so much.
Same as well, thank you.
And I am going to now introduce another wonderful lady. I mean, this lady, I call her my queen. And I don't call her my queen because she's my mom. I call her my queen because when I met her in 2017, I fell in love with her spirit. I fell in love with her passion and her love for the community and for the woman. I really did. And whenever I heard her speak, I mean, I just had to look at her as somebody who I can definitely look up to in terms of the movement she was making in her very own community in Kansas City. I met her in 2017 through my YLI fellowship, and we have stayed in touch since then. These are the type of connections that I truly value, and I would like to share this experience with you. And Joanna Farmer is the founder of Building Community Capacity. She's worked for over 30 years on political engagement strategies, community development initiatives, and programs focused on housing and education, integrated social service delivery systems, culturally competent mental health systems, transformative pedagogy. Oh my gosh, I just made a fool of myself, but no, that's fine. Team building and program and organization evaluation. She is the founder of and director of Building Community Capacity, which operates at the intersection between education and community development to increase access to information and resources that strengthen, empower, and engage children, families, and communities. Joanna earned her bachelor's degree in public policy studies and master's degree in sociology from the University of Chicago, and another master's degree in curriculum and instruction from the University of Missouri, Kansas City. And without further ado, I would like to pass on the floor to Miss Joanna Farmer. Joanna, can you hear me?
There we go.
Awesome.
I'm a little bit nervous after that introduction, like I have to really live up to something here, but it's all good. I want to thank everyone that's here because every single time you show up, you're demonstrating your level of commitment to what it is that you want to do. And I want to thank Michelle because she can be quite persistent in going after what she wants. And I really admire that about her, in addition to her integrity, because she does not deviate from what she knows that she is. And from the time I first met her, it was obvious that she was going places. And I like to call myself an encourager. So whatever I can do to help her, to give her just positive feedback, I'm willing to do that. And she also listens to constructive criticism, which is a strength for people when they can hear where they might need some other kinds of help. And so say, for example, if she needs help with marketing, and I say to her, well, Michelle, you can also try this, that, or the other. And so I want to be the kind of person as a mentor with this program, which is such an honor and a blessing, to encourage you to be the kind of learners where you're always open to listening to the feedback that you'll get. I have some notes over here, and when I think about repurpose, I think about perseverance. I've had to repurpose my business several times. I'm what's called a serial entrepreneur, which means that I constantly setting up small businesses. I'm also a social entrepreneur. And so I believe that, believe it or not, we can save the world, that we can create a better world, that we can do things differently, that things don't have to always be according to the status quo. So I want to go to retool, which once again is about persistence, which is what Michelle has. I saw her start to pivot last year when she got to a certain place, which for me, I was like, Michelle, you're going to Dubai? What are you going to be doing? And then she started to shift to another place where she was going to be more actively engaged and taking everything that she had learned and using it to benefit others. And that's very admirable. And that's what I mean about her integrity. She does not deviate from the course. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because she's a powerful role model, coach, and mentor for all of us. I'm not officially in the program. I might need to be, but just to know that she is going to take this endeavor on and make sure that she's there for us. I can't say enough. I've been around for a long time now, and you can count on one hand how many people actually stick to what they say they're going to do, how many people actually do their why. So the last word we have is redeploy, and it's about resilience, you all. Even though COVID hit us like a hammer, we got a hammer too, and we can stand up and do what's necessary to keep our businesses afloat. It might shift a little bit. Like I find myself these days doing a lot of more of seminars and webinars online, because you can never stop learning. Every time that you hit a little plateau, that might be an indication that you need to take your time and, number one, work on some self-care so you're not getting burned out. And then number two, just keep learning. Be willing to keep learning. There's so many free resources out here that, for me, there's really no excuse for me not to keep learning. I told you a little bit about being an encourager. And what that means for me is there's a word, a Kiswahili word called ujima. And that word means collective work and responsibility. So everyone that's currently on this Zoom, we're all accountable and responsible for each other. If you see your sister falling down, you don't walk past her, you stop and say, hey, is everything okay? And how can I help you with what you're doing? Because, you know, there's always something to learn from each other. I'm 58, I got 2 grown folks now, and I find myself learning from them. The tables have turned, and they're teaching me more than I'm teaching them now. And I talked about knowing your why. One of the reasons that building community capacity exists is because in my work in community development, I often found that people just did not know about resources. And that's why I'm applauding Michelle. She's finding out about resources and she's bringing them to the community. She's bringing these resources to where they're most needed. And then she's making sure that we're able to utilize them. So I would call upon each one of us to sometime just reach out to someone else. You might see or meet someone who has a great idea, and I used this example one time. Say it's something that you kind of think its idea is kind of silly, but that's not what you're going to tell them. You're going to say, hey, that's a great idea. Can I help you with that? If you can help, or if you know someone who can help. So building community capacity, I'm going to wrap this up because I want to stay within the 5 minutes that I was given, is about increasing access. And it's also about, with increasing that access to information and resources, helping people reach their highest potential. What does that mean? Going once again, I'm going to keep on harping on this for a little bit, Michelle. She decided, when I first met her and she was telling me about her goals and her dreams and aspirations, she's a very spiritual person, and she doesn't allow anyone to take her off track about her spirituality. And I really admire that in her, because ultimately when you're working with people, you have a certain level of responsibility and to be committed to them, to stay in it for the long haul. So just to see that this program is 2 years and there's no cost to the resources, that speaks volumes about her level of commitment. So I was invited here as a queen mother. That's what she calls me. So I'm going to stick with that. And I just want us all as women to make sure we're taking good care of ourselves so we can create these phenomenal businesses that reflect how phenomenal we are, and to just keep staying the course. Don't allow COVID to take over. We are in a perfect position right now to step up to the plate and make things happen. And if you know anything about the US, you know that we're dealing with a lot of issues right now. And this is a good time to reflect, and this is what I've been doing, is on what it is I could be working on during this time period. There might be some things in my business plan that I haven't really brought forward yet. So this is a good time for me to start learning some things and to figure out, okay, do I need to go shift right in terms of my marketing, or do I need to go over here, shift left in terms of my business data? And what I mean by that in terms of business data, you're constantly in the process of learning who your audience is. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm looking forward to working with you all. You all can call me a mentor if you want. I would love to just help and be an encourager and just continue to make sure that you guys persist. Don't quit, just persist. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Joanna. You are absolutely wonderful. Thank you for all those kind words. I wasn't expecting that. But I just want to say, praise God. And there was a reason why I connected with you, back in Kansas City. I mean, so many years ago. But ladies, I want to say to you, whenever you meet a woman such as Joanna, and I'm going to bring it back to you, Joanna, whenever you meet a woman who is willing to encourage you and to provide you assistance and to listen to what you have to say, that's a woman that's interested in empowering you as another woman. So please dispel this notion that we like to compete. We are a different breed of women right now. So this is what we are about, women in the community. So thank you so very much, Joanna.
You're
And
welcome.
I want to go into this very next woman. This woman is another example of what I call a serial entrepreneur. And I've known her for several years, and her name is Vanessa Philip. She is the founder of Evolution Public Relations Management. And I brought her on from the first cohort because she has a passion for wanting to help others. I mean, she has been successful in her own right and in her own businesses, and now she is willing to share this experience. She's actually turned her passion from modeling and incorporated it into her expertise, which is social media marketing. I mean, that is amazing, man. And I thought that that was a wonderful way to share what she is really good at with what her passion is and then bring it back to other women. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Vanetta so that she can tell you what you can expect from her.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. It's such an honor to be here for the second cohort of the Dream to Reality course. I am very glad to be sharing what I know, my expertise, and of course, any way I can help you ladies to be who you want to be as an entrepreneur. I have been involved in the public relations aspect of things for the past 6 years. Evolution Public Relations Management started in 2014. And in 2018, when I moved to Trinidad for a little while, I actually registered it as a company. So that's when I did the level up, so to speak, in regards to really taking things forward. And while I was in Trinidad, I realized there are so many small businesses that needed what I did. I would like to call myself a creative writer. I used to do a lot of I used to be a reporter. I've produced a few online and television shows as well, script writing, bio writing, and so forth. And I decided to do that because I realized years ago that our musical artists in St. Lucia, they needed that PR. They needed that representation. They needed that that push. And back then, social media was not as big as it is now. And so you would find that a lot of them were like, Vanessa, I can do this on my own. Vanessa, I can do this on my own. I'm like, okay, cool. And then as the years progressed, they realized, okay, I cannot pursue my music and do this at the same time if I don't have the necessary tools. So I like to look at myself, or I like to say that our services are concierge type services where, we cater to the needs of clients. And so when I went to Trinidad in 2017, I realized there were thousands of small businesses in Trinidad that needed what I did. And so Evolution Public Relations Management Limited has gone through a series of changes, especially under the COVID-19 pandemic. And what the reason I'm here, or the reason why, Michelle asked me to come on board, is to really share some of my expertise with you in marketing your dream, in the module Marketing Your Dream. So I'll be sharing with you guys ways, as a social media strategist, ways that you can really refocus and really not really rebrand, I would say, but really refocus your efforts in the field of social media for your business due to the COVID pandemic. And I think that even as small business people, we really need that. And as an entrepreneur, I work with a number of clients from the Bahamas all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm reaching to the other countries, other regions, day by day. I try to be as active as I can on LinkedIn, linkedin.com. I remember saying that to the first cohort, ladies who are in here, if you are not on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is the place where you need to be, especially if you're looking to expand your business or expand the reach of your business or even go into e-commerce on a full time. You need to have a proper professional LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn has really helped me to connect with a number of different professionals as far as India, and I'm working on some exciting projects there. But one of the things that I want to say, as Michelle said, I have been involved in the Caribbean fashion industry for the past 20 years. And I realized that there are so many disciplines that I learned from there. And I said to myself, Vanessa, you're into social media. Like, how can you use what you know in something that you love? And so I launched on the 4th of May of this year, the Social Media Runway, which is a membership program for small businesses, for entrepreneurs, small business owners, that actually teach you how to manage your social media effectively. And prior to that, I had a 5-day intense training called the Model Method. It's an acronym, MODEL, the Model Method. And the Model Method actually teaches you how to create content for your social media pages that are effective and that will keep people engaged in your social media pages and help you bring out the type of business that you have to the people, so the people can know you, so the people can see, okay, you know what, this is that type of business and I want to be associated with that business. And so that was a very successful 5-day training. And today I'm actually offering everybody that's here on this orientation, I'm going to put it into the chat. There will be a link where you can actually register for the Model Method absolutely free. And you can do that as a supplement to the Dream to Reality course. And you will see it will actually open your eyes to certain things that you haven't thought about and you haven't seen before. So I'm excited about that, to share that with you guys. And I'm excited to see you guys in marketing your dream, the module for the Dream to Reality program. I'm excited. And I just want to leave you guys a little piece of advice. I too have been a serial entrepreneur, starting from all the way 2004, starting my own modeling agency, Evolution Model Management, and even up to a day like today, I've done so many different things. At first, I did it just for me to pay my bills, but then I said to myself, no, it's not all about paying your bills, because if you do something and your heart is not in it, you will feel stressed. You will feel like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. And I realized, you know what? I sat back and I said, instead of working for people in 2012, I made up my mind and I said, I'm not working for anyone anymore. I am actually going to do the things that I love to do. And I know money will come. You know, it's a very, being an entrepreneur is a very bold thing to do. It is not for the faint of heart. You have to, you know, as Joanna said, don't give up. You cannot. Giving up is not an option. No way, no how. And when I found my niche, which was in public relations and social media strategy, I said to myself, I'm going to gather every single thing that I know from my working life, from working from the age of 19 up to now. No, I'm not going to tell you guys my age, even though I look young. And all these years of, I actually worked for people for 10 years, working for different organizations, from banking to lottery draw hostess to jewelry sales, to different types of things, working with musicians, working on television, newspapers, magazines. And I decided to step out. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you who are on this Zoom call, that you took the initiative to step out and to do something that you love to do and hope to earn money from it. I mean, the pandemic has really thrown a lot of us in for a loop. I mean, for me and my business, the beauty of what I do is that I can be in any part of the world and still work, but I still encountered a downhill spiral kind of in regards to my clients. My clients are like, okay, Vanessa, you know what? You know already what's happening, and we cannot continue. Thankfully, I have one or two, but it affected me, and I had to think, okay, what is it that I can do? So I also want to leave with you guys, you need to constantly re-strategize, Being an entrepreneur, business owner, especially during these critical times, you cannot stick to what you think you know and say, okay, this works. The same way technology changes every single day. There's always a new Samsung, there's always a new iPhone, there's always an upgrade of Windows 10, it's Windows Pro now, I'm not sure what it is right now, but there's always an upgrade. As a business person, you must always be willing and open up your mind to upgrade. Okay, so I'm not going to be for very much longer. I'm going to put in that link for you guys to be part of the model method, and you can find out more information about the social media runway on the link as well that I'll be sending to you. Our membership is closed for right now, but it's going to be open pretty soon, and I will be sharing that with you guys. I am available on LinkedIn as well as Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to put in my handles there. Thank you again, Michelle, for having me, and I'm excited about where these ladies are going to go from here on out. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Vanessa. And ladies, I'm telling you, this is a lady who knows her stuff, right? I mean, how could you think of incorporating modeling and then social media? And then she came up with the social media runway. I mean, that was phenomenal, yo. I mean, that in itself, that talk about some serious marriage of skill and know-how. So yes, you ladies will be exposed to this course. And again, as she said, it's completely free to you. So ladies, you have opportunities basically landing at your feet. So the next step is, what am I going to do with it? And my advice, grab it and run. Not run away, run with it. And of course, share it. Sharing is caring. And I'm going to go into our very first gentleman speaker for the day. And I know you were expecting only ladies, but hey, we cannot leave the men out. Without the men, you know, things just don't work right. There must be balance. And this particular man, I mean, he is a phenomenal worker. He's a dedicated worker. His name is Kyle Fishman. And he works with the Wildlife Network and also attached to the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Educational Cultural Affairs. He serves as an entrepreneurship program officer in the Office of Public Diplomacy in the Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs at the U.S. Department of State, where he coordinates the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, as I stated before, Wildlife, and that's the pronunciation, guys, Wildlife, and other regional entrepreneurship programming. This is his third Foreign Service tour. In Warsaw, Kyle was a consular officer and a staff assistant to the ambassador. And now, without further ado, I would like to call upon Mr. Kyle Fishman so that he can introduce himself and let you know why he is one of the sole gentlemen who was introduced or invited to speak with you ladies. Kyle?
Thanks, Michelle. And apologies, I'm joining you all from my car. I had a medical appointment I had to go to. I'm joining you from Washington, D.C. I'm so grateful that Michelle invited me to say a quick hello to the group. I am not a social entrepreneur. I am not a serial entrepreneur, but I am an ally. As Michelle mentioned, I work at the U.S. Department of State, and I support some of our entrepreneurship public diplomacy programming in the Western Hemisphere. Chief among those programs is the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative. I know that Michelle, Janice, I know, hi, you're out there, and several other YLI alums are part of this conversation today. The Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative is celebrating 5 years this year. It was set up to build connections between Latin America, the Caribbean, and the United States, especially along the themes of entrepreneurship. We have a fellowship in the United States that's yearly. We also have the YLI Network, which offers free online courses, blog posts, articles. We just started a campaign this month called YLI Strong, which features resources on how to build up your resilience as an individual and as a business through business development and contingency plans so that we can help address some of the challenges that we know everyone is facing. So that's YLI in a nutshell. I encourage you to join the YLI network at yli.state.gov. And taking a step back, why am I here talking to you today? It's because the United States supports entrepreneurship in the hemisphere, and what one of my key objectives is to build connections between the United States and the region in particular, so that we can have a more democratic, prosperous, and secure hemisphere. And I'd like to thank Michelle for doing my work for me right here. We heard great remarks from Essence in Atlanta, and Joanna, nice to meet you in Kansas City. Michelle is building connections between the United States and the Caribbean, and all of you ladies in St. Lucia. I think it's an excellent opportunity to build networks, to see opportunities that are out there and to really seize them, and know that you have the support of my office, in addition to colleagues at the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you so much for inviting me, Michelle. Another great group, and I'm so excited to learn about the great things you all accomplish.
Thank you so very much, Kyle, for doing that. There's one thing that I wanted to kind of put you on the spotlight on for. There's an event that I have coming up where we're going to be calling it Understanding, the YLI Network. And I wanted to know whether, we can probably have you on this virtual event that is only for persons who have actually signed up for YLI membership, just to give them an idea as to what to expect from the network, the benefits, and also how we can help one another. So can you give me an idea as to when this week we can possibly have this virtual event with our group?
I don't have access to my calendar right here, but I'm happy to be the bait, if I'm bait for you to, for those, if it wasn't enough to join the YLI network on its own, I'm happy to talk with you about some of the benefits that we can highlight for you. I'll get back in touch with you, Michelle, in a time.
Okay, great. Thank you so very much, Kyle. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so ladies, that was the very first gentleman speaker for our event. And again, Kyle Fishman attached with the YLI network. So those of you ladies who have been hearing me talking about the YLI network and Young Leaders of the Americas initiative, there are real people behind the network, just so you know. It's not just something that you see on the internet. It's not just an app or something that you use. There are people behind it, and Kyle is one of the people behind in terms of the team. Okay, and of course, as he stated, you have the support of the U.S. Department of State through programs such as these. So the fact that you are part of the Dream to Reality professional business training course, you are one step further or one step closer towards getting access to even more opportunities. So ladies, again, congratulations on this. This is where you start feeling really important if you were not feeling important already. So that just goes without saying. So thank you so very much, Kyle, for being with us. I know you probably won't be able to stay long, but thank you so much for engaging with us on this call. And the very next speaker is also another gentleman who I've invited to speak with you ladies, more specifically for our region. And his name is Lawrence Soka. He's actually the Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Embassy of the Eastern Caribbean and Barbados, or as we know it, Bridgetown. So I am going to now pass on the floor to Larry, as I call him, so that he can let you know what to expect from the U.S. Embassy in terms of support and the role that they play in programs such as these. Larry, you with us?
I'm with you, Michelle. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing great, thanks.
Great. Thanks. I got to pass you a bio sometime so I can sound as fancy as Kyle.
Yes, please do.
But in the meantime, yeah, let's cut to the chase, because I saw the ambitious schedule for today, and and more importantly, had the opportunity to listen to Essence and other fantastic women who have addressed the group. I know I'm inspired. Every time I do activities like this, I have to check the regulations and see how I can match my career as a diplomat also with being an entrepreneur, because I want to do so much of what I see and what I hear among all the great work that you ladies are doing. So thanks for the opportunity to have a window on that this morning. I'm going to throw a couple of links into the chat here for everyone. First and foremost, I want to say that the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados is here to support you. It's a fact of life that unfortunately we only have one embassy to cover 7 countries, all the way from St. Kitts down to Grenada, with St. Lucia in between. I get out to St. Lucia pre-COVID-19 about once every 2 months, and had an opportunity to sit down with Michelle, with other YLI alumni and other alumni of our exchange programs, and I'm so impressed with the work that she and others are doing in St. Lucia. And so I want to say that we're here to support you. So connect with us through social media, through Instagram, through Facebook. I put our Facebook link up there. I put it up there too because we actually did an entrepreneurship event with some YLI alumni, again, the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, just last week, something we titled Creatives in the Time of COVID. Because it's difficult, right? Maybe you had a business started, maybe you're just getting your feet wet, and then COVID came along and you had to stay home or you had to change your business model. We had a great discussion with individuals both in the United States and here in the Caribbean about how to move your business forward in this environment. So check that out. It's on our it was a Facebook Live, so if you scroll through our Facebook page and our videos there, you'll be able to find it pretty easily. It's I think the most recent video we have up there. But please do connect with us, number one. Secondly, I want to really just compliment what Kyle said about the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, YLI, yli.state.gov. I put the link there too to the online courses. I think this is one of the best resources as well. You have such an incredible opportunity in this group, from dream to reality, to share amongst yourselves your feedback and how you're feeling, how you're doing, how you can help one another. But those online courses through the YLI network are really great opportunities to learn new things introduced through all these online courses. Things like management strategy for people and resources, community organization for action. I heard some talk about social entrepreneurship and really being part of the community and helping the community to move forward. Really great resources. So I wanted to make sure to flag those for you as part of your Dream to Reality course as well. And lastly, a pitch from our embassy that we have money available. Now, we don't have incredibly deep pockets in our coffers here, but we do have resources available to support women who are doing amazing things in their community. It's going to be the end of the fiscal year in September. We're going to take a look at our budget and how it's been impacted by COVID-19. But we encourage throughout the year on a rolling application basis for women who are interested in getting projects started and supporting their communities to check out our grants and our notice of funding opportunity. And that's the last link I included there, bb.usembassy.gov. That's our website. And if you go to the link for education and cultural grants, you can apply for grants up to $25,000 to support a project that you're working on. Now, we don't do grants to invest directly in your business. Let's say, there was talk of fashion before. If you needed to buy sewing materials and fabric, the U.S. Embassy would not provide money to make those purchases. But if you wanted to train other women, if you wanted to expand the network, expand your business, that is something we could take a look at. So along the lines of social entrepreneurship and building resilient communities in St. Lucia, please do check out the embassy's website and the steps to apply for a grant, because before the end of the fiscal year, before September, we will be taking a look at those who have put in proposals and are making some awards. It does not have to be the max of $25,000. Maybe you're more comfortable managing $5,000 to start. See how that goes. Any amount of money, the proposal could be up to the 25K mark. So do take a look, and hopefully we can be of help. But I really want to thank Michelle for the opportunity to greet you this morning. I'm the public affairs officer. There's 2 U.S. officers in our section. myself, and then a gentleman by the name of Leland Lazarus. You might hear from him at some point in your journey as well. I'm happy to check in with you again at some point as you go through this course. So you have me and Leland. We have a team of about 6 other individuals in our section 2 who are working to support you. So thank you, Michelle, for the opportunity. Happy to remain, part of this group. I'll be listening in for a short while longer, but good luck to everybody as they make their business dreams come true.
Okay, Larry, thank you so very much for that. Wow, I mean, in the very short space of time that you joined us, you shared with us so much valuable information that I'm sure that these women are going to treasure. I mean, just the fact that you are saying that, they have the support of the embassy. I mean, the only thing that persons knew the embassy for before was just for visas. I mean, that was it. But now you're saying that you have their support in terms of furthering projects. You have support in terms of providing access to funding for educational purposes and for professional and community engagements as well. You have access to money for grants that they can utilize to help build the community. So that again is something that persons need to hear. So ladies, if you thought the embassy only stood for visas, think again. The embassy is here to support us. So I want to thank you so much, Larry, for sharing that information with us. And of course, Larry, if you're able to, if you're willing to, you can share possibly some more information about the any current projects right now, or should I say, I think there are, is it the Fulbright? I'm not sure which is running right now that persons can possibly apply for. If it doesn't suit somebody here, maybe they can share it with someone who is interested. And also any events coming up that the embassy is doing this week or next week that you can share, please let us know so that we can also put that up into the group as well.
Yeah, a couple of things coming up this week. Thanks again, Michelle. If anybody has friends in the film community, anybody who's good with the camera, anybody who's interested in producing or making independent films, we're actually doing a workshop, a masterclass this Thursday at noon, again, through the embassy's Facebook page, the link I provided at the beginning of my presentation here. It will be a great conversation actually between a Dominican filmmaker, Michael Lees, who did this incredible film where he went into the forest to kind of a David Thoreau type moment to find himself as a young man. But this is when Hurricane Maria hit. And so it's really an incredible film about his journey and the devastation, but also the recovery of the island of Dominica. So he, as a filmmaker, will also be discussing with Cole Sachs, who's a filmmaker from the United States, about how to make a business out of filmmaking. So if you're interested in film, or you know of a family member or a friend, please tune in this Thursday with regards to our entrepreneurship and film session. Also, I want to give a shout out to a program that is currently open for applications. It's not an entrepreneurship program, but it's about politics. And it's called our Women in Politics Leadership Institute, or WIPLE. You can find information again at the embassy's website, which is bb.usembassy.gov. That application process goes until July 3rd. What we're doing is we're gathering young women from all over the Eastern Caribbean, again, from St. Kitts through Grenada. And these women are coming together online in an online community to discuss with women in politics, women leaders from around the Eastern Caribbean and in the United States. Individuals who serve in elected office, individuals who have run campaigns before, those who have come around community issues and community organization. So our Women in Politics Leadership Institute might be something you're interested in. And so please do check that out. I will add the link in the chat here once I jump on the website. So thanks for that question, Camille. I think those are the two big things to highlight. We'll keep you up to date, Michelle.
Okay, thank you so very much, Larry, for sharing that information with us. And if in case you have to go, I completely understand. So ladies, again, Larry, he has provided some information in the chat. Please take a look at the information there. Just go through the history and you will see what he has provided, okay? All right, so now moving on to our very next speaker. She is a young woman who will actually be co-facilitating the course with me at some point. But I also want to acknowledge someone very, very special who joined us only a few minutes ago, Jeff Hoffman, who is our keynote speaker. He joined us, so you'll be hearing from him very soon, but just want to acknowledge that he is here with us right now. So right now we're about to hear from Emma Charles. So Emma Charles basically is an RBC, or Royal Bank of Canada, relationship manager with over a decade of excellence in the financial services industry. She specializes in business lending and is passionate about helping businesses grow and regularly visits businesses seeking financial assistance and advice. She joined RBC, or Royal Bank of Canada, in January 2018 as a relationship manager, a position that drives her passion to help entrepreneurial dreams become a reality. With her love for interacting with people and the positive energy she exudes, she genuinely wins her clients' trust and their confidence her advice is always at their best. So without further ado, I would like to pass on the baton to Emma Charles. Emma, are you with us?
Yes, I am Michelle. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. Good morning, ladies, and to all co-facilitators and the mentors on the call. Good morning to you as well. As Michelle indicated, I am Emma Charles, and like Kyle, I'm not a social entrepreneur. But hearing from you ladies before me, you really inspire me. I remember working in the banking industry with Michelle and Lisa, and look at you guys now. It's just amazing to see how far you've become when you've made up your mind to, you know what, decide that the corporate life may not necessarily be for you, and being an entrepreneur may be your next step. So my focus will be on funding your business post COVID. So how do you fund your dream in amidst COVID-19? I will take you through the business life cycle and show you how my experience, my 16 years of banking experience with different businesses in the startup stage, in the growth stage, maturity, and those who live into exit, how they funded the business and how they made it possible despite all the obstacles that they encountered. I will also show you how you should prepare yourself in terms of approaching a financial institution specifically for assistance. And unlike popular demand, we are your allies and not your enemies. We are here to assist you. And so never listen to the hearsay out there. Always look for information for yourself. I will encourage you to do your own research. Look for all the possible ways that you could start your business, whether it is figuring out how much money you need and whether you can provide that for yourself, whether it is getting it from friends or family, whether you have to seek crowdfunding, or like Larry said, whether you seek assistance from a government-related agency or subsidiary. All of that is part of how you can get financial assistance to start up your business or grow your business. And my job tomorrow, I think I'm on tomorrow with you guys, it will be to show you how we as a financial institution can assist you, advise you on what we look for as a bank, and show you how to present yourself in terms of business pitching and what we expect from entrepreneurs. We find many times, in my experience, many times entrepreneurs who approach the bank, they aren't really prepared. Prepared in terms of they may not necessarily know what it is that is expected or what it is that is happening in the market that they're going. Some persons are not necessarily informed on who the target market is. It's simple things that as bankers, we think you should know, that when you approach us, it's like you did not do enough research. And I thank Michelle for having me once again on this cohort. I hope that I will provide you with enough information to take you through your journey as entrepreneurs, and especially amidst COVID, where it is very difficult for existing businesses. But like Joanne said, stay positive. Amidst the COVID, your dream can become a reality. So I'm listening on. Thanks for having me, Michelle. And I wish everyone on this call a very successful journey and all the best with your business.
Thank you so very much, Emma, for joining us and for giving that introduction. So, ladies, this is actually one of our co-facilitators of the course. She will be joining us when we deal with the topic funding and financing your dream. So, we do have an actual banker, a business development, um, well, I wouldn't say business development, a manager per se, but she's more of a personal management manager in terms of helping you develop your business. I think that's a better way to put it, because as she rightly said, a lot of people, when you hear about the banks and what they require, there's a lot of like hearsay talk because a lot of persons got rejected or they didn't meet the criteria. But if you know what the criteria is, then you'll be in a better position to ensure that you have everything that you need. And also, they're not just there to give you money, they're there to give you advice too. So Emma is always open and willing to assist whenever you need advice or guidance in your business. If there's something financial that you have a little stickler with, and a lot of women have actually stated, specifically in the first cohort, that the financials were the biggest issue for them. So they are there to help you. And again, I will state that Emma is a really, really, really great champion in investing in yourself. So that is also why phase 3 of the course is Invest in an Entrepreneur Initiative, where you learn to invest in yourselves and each other before you even get to the financial lenders or the financial institutions. It really makes you look a lot more attractive when you have invested in yourself. So that is why we have Emma on board. Emma, thank you so much again for agreeing to do another stint with us in this program. Now, the very next woman that I'm going to introduce, I recently met her through some researching that I was doing and some reading, and I love to read, I love to research, and I love to connect with really impactful individuals who are doing really dramatic and amazing things in a really wonderful way. And in terms of how we came across each other, it just happened to be articles I was reading and publications that I was going through, and I came across this woman, and we had our talk on the phone, and it was supposed to be, I think, a 10 to 15-minute talk that turned into almost an hour. And we literally ended up like we were girlfriends, just chatting and talking about stuff and our aspirations and wanting to help other women. And I'm talking about Ling Ling Fang. She is an advisor, published author in HBR, and a startup coach for social innovators. She founded a business design and innovation studio called Two Lings and a fortnightly newsletter for social innovators called Zen and the Art of Social Innovation. In order to share learnings over the past decade, she co-authored an article in HBR on corporate social innovation. She is passionate about the power of large institutions to be an agent for social and environmental change. Two Lings works with corporations, NGOs, and development organizations to bring scalable solutions to social or environmental challenges in underserved markets by leveraging their core expertise and assets. Some of their recent clients include Unilever, Pearson, and Verizon. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Ling Ling to speak with you and to let her know what her participation in this course is about and what you can expect from her. Ling Ling?
Thank you so much, Michelle, for inviting me today. I have to say that I've been listening over the last hour and 50 minutes or so, and I have been completely blown away by what you've put together, Michelle. It is incredible to see you women here. I am, can't believe I've been asked to be part of this lineup of, just listening to Lisa and Essence and Joanna and Vanessa speak. I was just like, wow, just completely humbled by even being a part of this cohort. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. I look forward to working with all of you as a mentor over these coming months. I should say that I spent the last 20 years giving advice to businesses, large and very, very small. Over the last year, this work has focused specifically on creating new innovations, so creating new products and services for the marketplace. The way you can use me best is when you're just starting up a business and everything is very new and there's everything to do and you don't know what to do first. I'm quite good at making things more clear because I've listen very well. And also when you're stuck and you're not sure how to move forward, those are the two areas that times when I really excel. I'll also be running a workshop on how to test your ideas before investing too much of your time and money. So if you've got an idea and you're like, do I do this or not? Before you jump in and, put in a lot of your time and money into it, there's a process that could be helpful to figure out, well, whether it will work or not. And so I'll be running a workshop on that too as well. I think Michelle was saying that's a supplemental part of the work. So again, my name is Ling Ling, and you might be able to tell from my accent that I'm American. However, I'm talking to you today from London, where I now live and run a business design and innovation strategy studio called Two Lanes. Given the theme of repurpose, retool, and redeploy, I want to share with you some information about me that many people do not know. I'm sharing this personal story with you because I have heard so many impressive people on this call. And so some of you might be thinking, this is not me. How am I here? What am I doing here? Because we don't get to see everyone's full journey of how they got here. So I want to share with you just very, very briefly my story, so perhaps you can relate to some of it. I was raised in America, but I was born in Vietnam. And I was born in Vietnam after the Vietnam War, a war that went on for about 20 years. My father was a veteran from the war, and he lost most of his friends in this war. My mother lost her father from the age of 8 and started working from the age of 8 years old. And she's illiterate, still to this day, cannot read and write, but one of the smartest and most capable people I know, and is my personal hero. So after the war, my parents had a very hard decision. They had to decide whether to stay or to go. And they decided that dying is not the only way of losing your life. So they made the decision to escape the country with me, who was 18 months old at the time, and my brother, who was only 3 years old, on one of those little boats. And you might have seen some of these little boats in the news over these last few years. So over half of the people who left in this way died. And some people estimated the death toll to be about 2 million people. But we were lucky. My family was lucky. We ended up in a refugee camp in Hong Kong. And 6 months later, we restarted our lives again in a small dairy farming community in Virginia. We were lucky because at the time, the world was still accepting refugees, which is unfortunately not the case for the 25 million refugees that are still seeking a home today. And my family worked any job we could get. And I started my life cleaning toilets and waiting tables. And today, by the grace of God, I run my own business. So I share this story with you because I want to talk to you about resilience as the most important muscle that you can build up as an entrepreneur. Likely, you have already exercised this muscle because you're here with us today. But this muscle needs to be exercised every day. 2020 has been a year that no one could have predicted, and we're only halfway through it. And I can honestly say that I have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. And we don't get to choose a lot of things in our life. We don't get to choose where we were born, what family we're born into, our gender, the color of our skin, which we are seeing today is if you have Black skin, can mean life or death, depending on where you live. We don't get to choose whether we want a pandemic to wipe out half or more of our business that we've invested years and maybe our entire life into. We only get to choose how we respond to anything that we only get to choose how we respond to what presents itself into our lives. So the good news is that it turns out how we respond makes all the difference. According to an expert in grit, Angela Duckworth, grit is the common denominator for success beyond intelligence, beyond talent, beyond income, beyond networks. The act of trying and failing and getting up to try again matters that much. And because you're here today, I suspect you know a thing or two about grit and resilience. But I'll leave with you just a few things that I've learned over these years about building grit and resilience in life. And I should say that building this resilience is not about the big moments where you not only about the big moments where you push through to the other side, but it's about the little things that you do for yourself every day to be psychologically, emotionally, and physically fit for those big moments in your life. So the first, I should say, is something that Lisa had touched on. It's about telling yourself a better story. Because I suspect many of you have busy minds, and we have minds that tell us all kinds of things that are not true. And if your mind is replaying anything that does not uplift, encourage, or support you, take notice of it. Take a few deep breaths. Remind yourself that they are just words and they do not hold the truth. And tell yourself a better story. I've had to do this, most days, frankly. And I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. The second is surround yourself with people who, bring up your energy, like this amazing group of people that I've just, Michelle happened to stumble upon. And I feel so lucky to be here today. Surround yourself by people who uplift you and who can be a sounding board for your work and where you can go to get help when you need it, because we will all need help and we need to ask for it. The third is something that Michelle started off with, prayer. There is magic in the world and there are angels everywhere. You just have to look at your screen right now. The fourth is take care of yourself. Eat well, sleep well, and exercise every single day. And I mean every single day. And I'm actually looking at Michelle here because I imagine sleep isn't something that's very high on her list of priorities. But it's really important that we do this every single day. Please get enough sleep. And finally, the last is to please be kind to yourself during this journey and to others as well, because how you do this work is just as important as what you're doing. So I'm really excited to be part of your journey over these next few months. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. Michelle, I will put up my website and my contact information. Feel free to contact me there. I'm not sure how and when we get started, but I appreciate you all and look forward to working with you. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so very much, Ling Ling, for sharing your story with us. Not many people would be comfortable in, sharing such a personal, I would say foundational story, with such a large, group of people. It takes a really strong woman to do that. And I'm sure Lisa Yard can attest to that as well. But thank you so very much for sharing that with us. And I know that when you have this session, with our ladies after they've completed the first phase of the course, that they're going to be very, very, very appreciative of the information that you're going to be sharing with them, and best practices and whatnot that they can utilize not just in their businesses but in their professional lives as well. So ladies, Ling Ling shared her information in the chat, so please take note of that for future reference. So she will be engaging with you as a mentor for the course, but in case you need to reach her, prior to that, feel free to do so. Thank you so very much, Ling Ling, for that. At this point in time, we now go to the moment of truth, basically, which is what we've all kind of been gearing, this up for, and that is our keynote speaker, the person who basically, put together this formula that this theme for this course is now based on. So I'm talking about Mr. Jeff Hoffman. He is a successful entrepreneur. He's a proven CEO, worldwide motivational speaker, best-selling author, Hollywood film producer, a producer of a Grammy-winning jazz album, and so much more. There's so much that I can say about Jeff, but he's not the type of person that likes to tout or toot his own horn. He is very humble, and as I stated before, he is all about giving back and helping others, especially in these times. And he is willing, again, this is something that just really blew me away. This man who is so successful is willing to look at us in a small developing country as St. Lucia, and he's willing to come on board with you ladies as a mentor for this course. And that is something that I can say an immense thank you for. So Jeff, without further ado, as our keynote speaker.
Mhm.
For today, I turn the floor over to you.
Thank you. As you guys can see, I'm in a car. I'm not driving, but I'm in a car. So do me a favor. In the chat, just type yes if you can hear me okay before I start, because I can see the chat and I want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. All right, very good. So let's just jump in. And Michelle, thank you not only for including me, but just for doing this at all, and caring as much as you do about islandpreneurs and about the women in the islands and all the things that you are up all night, as I think Ling Ling said, thinking about all the time. So let's go through what the 3 R's are all about repurpose, retool, and redeploy. And I'm going to tell you the question that we're answering. When COVID happened, and this is an exercise people should have been doing anyway, but especially now. When COVID happened, and so many of us, whatever we were working on, the business we were doing, our business suddenly got shut down, right? The world kind of stopped around us, and a lot of people were not sure what to do next. And so I happen to be the chairman of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. And at Global Entrepreneurship Network, we have people on the ground. We work with entrepreneurs in 180 countries. So since this happened, I have been talking to small business owners and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and people everywhere, including Michelle and I having these conversations and listening to what the problems and the opportunities are. So eventually I kind of put down the 3 R's, the repurpose, retool, and redeploy that we're going to talk about, as a kind of a combination of listening to a lot of you, talking about what you're doing and what works. So let's jump in. The first of the 3 R's is to repurpose. So remember, the question we're asking is not only how do I survive during this COVID time, but how do I thrive? How do I come out even stronger? A lot of people's attitude was, I just want to get through this. And you know what we're going to talk about today is, why just get through it? Why not come out better than you were before this started? And a lot of people haven't thought that way, and that's what Michelle and I want you guys to think, that you can come out better than you were before this started. So repurpose. I'm going to give you an exercise to do. And Michelle, if I have not already sent you the diagram, the chart of the 3 R's, I'll send it to you and you can post it on your site or your Facebook so all of you can have a copy of it, because we have a chart that walks you through this. But the first one is repurpose. And here's the exercise that I want you to do. You don't have to do it now, but you should do it sometime soon. The first exercise in repurpose is to take out a sheet of paper or go to a whiteboard, and on the left side, I want you to make a list. I want you to think about this. What are your skills, your talents, and your assets? What do you have in your bag, in your playbook, right? From your God-given talents to your business ones. So on the left, and I'm going to give you an example to make this clear. You're listing your skills, you're listing your talents, and you're listing any other resources you have. Resources might be equipment, or it might be one of the people I was talking to, she owned a little restaurant and she had 2 vehicles. So we listed those assets. So on the left are your skills, your talents, your assets, everything that you have to offer the world. By the way, it's a good exercise, just the exercise of writing those down and doing an inventory of yourself. What do I have? What am I good at? What am I skilled at? What can I offer the world? So you're writing that on the left side. Now on the right, in the repurpose exercise, what you're going to look at is what has changed in the world since COVID, and what new needs are there in the world? And again, I'm going to give you a couple of examples in a minute. On the left is what your skills are. On the right is what the world needs. And what you're kind of trying to do is repurpose your skills to go solve problems that the world needs. So here's some examples on the right of the chart. There are 3 needs the people to repurpose and do we didn't even need before. The first one is work from home, right? We didn't even have a term. I have to tell you guys a funny story. Somebody was texting, and one person texted WYD to the other person, "What are you doing?" And the person texted back WFH. And just 2 months ago, the other person would have typed back WTF with a bunch of question marks. Like, you know, they wouldn't have known what WFH is. But today, they just typed back me too. And the reason why is WFH, work from home, wasn't even a thing 2 months ago when now everybody in the world is working from home. So what happened was, when COVID hit, we sent all our employees home. And the whole world was trying to work at home. But most companies and most workers had never done teleworking. Companies had never had virtual teams and virtual employees. So everybody was in a scramble. I know many, many people who'd never been on a Zoom call in their life before COVID. Then they discovered Slack. And then they discovered Airtable. I'm listing tools for working at home. Then there's new tools like Jitsi and Remo. And then Microsoft added Microsoft meetings, and Google upgraded Google Hangouts to Google Meet. And everybody in the work world, the most effective way to work from home. And there's still a massive demand for better tools. So one of the things you're writing on the right-hand side is, do I have any ideas for better ways to work at home? Because every company in the world is looking for help. I'll give you a quick example there. One company was trying to find a way to better socialize. And they said to me, do you know any ice-breaking games? I see that the connection's not good. No, I'm not sure what else I can do. Is it any better now? Somebody reply. I'm hearing that the connection's not great.
Yeah, the connection is poor most likely because you're in the car. Normally, in my experience, when person step out of the vehicle, it's better. But I know since you're in a moving vehicle, it'll be difficult. But yes, yeah.
Unfortunately, believe me, if I could have done anything different, we would have. This is a whole different story. But all right, so in addition to work from home, what I was saying was there was a company that asked me if we knew any social games, things that their employees could play online to talk to each other and get more acquainted with each other and stay in it during Zoom. And there aren't any. So why isn't somebody creating social tools, socialization tools like get to know each other games or entertaining non-work things to do while you're working virtually? There's a whole category. Education. I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to turn off the video and see if I move the camera closer. I'm going to the phone closer. All right, so work from home, school from home. All of a sudden, we sent all of our students home. Most schools in the world did not have online learning. They didn't have virtual education. Schools were in a scramble. Teachers were in a scramble. The school wanted to know how to teach at home. The teacher wanted to know how to maintain relationships with students. The parents wanted to know how to help their students with their home, with their online schooling. And the students started to discover that online learning was actually pretty cool. College students started saying, do I really need to go back to college? Or could I do university? Or could I do my education virtually? So the reason that I'm telling you this is that there are not enough tools for online education. There's an opportunity. I'll give you a third one, which is telemedicine. There were people all over that couldn't go to the hospital, that either the hospital wasn't open or they were too sick or they were afraid. And so I actually was talking to my doctor who said, he said to me, Jeff, at my age, I can't believe I just did my first Zoom patient appointment ever. So all of a sudden, online medicine. So there's three new things. We need a whole bunch of innovation and new tools for work from home. We need a whole bunch of new tools for parents, teachers, students, and schools for online education. We need a whole bunch of new tools for preventative medicine and diagnostics at home. That is a massive opportunity to repurpose your skills to figure out how you could change instead of not working on, whatever you were working on that got shut down. I know entrepreneurs who are launching brand new companies to solve all these problems. One quick example, then I'll move to the next one. quick example was this was in the United States. It was a female entrepreneur that I mentor, coach. She called me. She owns a distillery, guys. She makes vodka, and her customers are liquor stores. But all the liquor stores closed, so she couldn't sell vodka. So she was shut down, and all employees were at home. She said, "Jeff, I don't know what to do, and we're dying here." So we did this exercise I told you to do, repurpose. We wrote on the left her talents and skills and resources. You know what we wrote down? We wrote down that their skills and talents were that they had resources were that they were chemists. They had chemistry degrees. They knew how to mix chemicals. They specifically, because they made vodka, knew how to work with alcohol, and they had 2 big mixing tanks as assets. And so on the right, we wrote down what are the new things the world needs now that maybe you could repurpose your skills. And one of the things we noticed at the time was nobody had hand sanitizer. Everybody was out looking for it. And so when we mapped her skills to the world's need, we discovered that, you know how you make hand sanitizer? With chemists mixing chemicals, mixing alcohol, even though it's a different kind, in big mixing tanks. So she went from having her business shut down and about to go bankrupt because no one was buying her vodka to making so much hand sanitizer that she has triple her revenue, and she had to hire everybody that was unemployed anywhere around her to help make hand sanitizer. That's repurposing. What new needs can you work on? Now let's do retool. Retool is, now that you've looked at, and I have another exercise for you guys. In repurposing, we wrote down on the left your skill set, and you have it on the board in front of you or on a piece of paper. What I want you to do is ask yourself another question. Thank you, Lisa. I saw your comment. I'm going to ask yourself this question, which is, what is a skill set? I started asking entrepreneurs like you guys, ask this question. When you look at your skill set that you wrote on the board, what is a skill that you've always wished you had, but you've never had time to develop? And I'm going to give you a real example. This one woman said to me, Jeff, I don't really know what artificial intelligence is. I read about it, but I don't really know about it. I've been too busy, don't have time to do that. So what I'm challenging you to do in retooling is you are going to upgrade yourself during this time. You are going to commit to learning one new skill that you did not know before COVID that's going to make you more valuable as a person for people to hire you and work with you, or pay you as a consultant, a coach, whatever you do, or one new skill you're going to add to your company that is going to make your company more valuable. So here's the example. She was in the consumer goods business, but no one was buying her product during COVID because it's not essential. So her employees were at home and she was at home. And I said, looking at the chart we made on the left of your skills, what is one thing you want to learn that you've never had time to? She said artificial intelligence. So let me tell you what she's doing now. Here's the good news, everybody. There are thousands and thousands of free courses on the internet being offered during this time. So she and her employees signed up to get certificates in applied artificial intelligence for free. They take a 90-minute class every other day. And when they're done, she is going to have a certificate in applied artificial intelligence, and she's going to be so much more valuable on the market. She committed to learning one new skill now to add to the left side of the chart, taking thousands. Her whole team is taking applied artificial intelligence certificates. And when I talked to them last week, they're designing an AI-based predictive consumer behavior than the competitors when business restarts. My question to you is, what is a skill you can commit to learning? You're home anyway. You're online. You have more free time than you did before this, and you're online more than you were before this. Spend an hour a night to learn a new skill. By the way, I talked to somebody the other day that said, I didn't know how much help I needed in parenting until my child came home and told me. She's taking an online parenting course. But else I know, as a homeschooling course to figure out how the kids in their education. So whether it's development or artificial intelligence, retool yourself. So now I'm going to cover the third one, and then Michelle, if there's any questions, we can take some in the chat. The third one is to redeploy, and so redeploy is we're going to add another thing to the right. On the left, remember, what we did in repurpose was we made a list of our current inventory of skills and assets. On the right, we made a list of new things the world needs they didn't used to need. You might be able to serve it. I'm going to ask, who is on the front lines this time? In the area you live, who are the front lines of either of the pandemics? And the reason I say two is the COVID pandemic, or right now, obviously in the mainland U.S., we're dealing with the racial inequality pandemic. Can you guys hear me again? I'll stop and make sure before I do this. Can people hear me?
We're hearing you better.
Okay. So, so whichever of the pandemics, I want you to list on the right the people in your community that are on the front lines of that pandemic and what they need. So you might be listing anything from hospitals and healthcare workers to, you know, police and law enforcement or first responders. And what you're going to do is you're going to call them and ask them if they can borrow any of the skills you have on the left. I'm going to give you two examples and then I'll be done. The first example was a software company that called me, and the woman that ran this company said, no one's ordering software right now, so we're shut down. So we did the repurpose exercise. We made a list of her skills. And what she wrote down was two of the people that work at her company are graphic designers. So that's a skill she can offer the world. One of her people is an online marketer. They didn't have any business. No one was hiring them right now. So we made a list on the right. Who in your community is on the front lines of the battle? She said, there's a hospital in the area I live in that is the main, place for treating COVID right now. And I said, call the hospital. She said, what? I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I said, call them, tell them what's on the left side of your chart, and ask them if any of your skills can help. So here's what happened. She called the hospital, and she said, how's it going? And they said, well, our doctors and nurses are working around the clock doing doctor and nurse stuff, but we're battling an information campaign. People are getting bad information in the community about COVID and what it is and what the symptoms are and what treatments work. And we're trying to launch a misinformation campaign. And we're trying to build a website and get information to people in our city about accurate information coming from doctors, not from the media. And they said, the problem is we're doctors and nurses, and we're not website builders. And she said, well, I have two graphic designers and online marketer. Could you want to borrow them a few hours a week? And the hospital said, oh my God, yes. So her employees who are not working went a couple hours a week to the hospital to build an information campaign, her graphic designers and her online marketers for the hospital to get information to people in the community about COVID. Not only does that help the employees, because they were sitting at home and doing nothing and feeling bad, but now they feel better because they're part of the solution. But the campaign was so good that the hospital got a grant. They won a federal grant from the government. They took the grant money and hired for the next 3 months all of this girl's employees because she wasn't able to pay them. So they hired the graphic designers, they hired the online marketers, and they hired her SEO person to build more campaigns for other hospitals. So now they're getting paid by the pandemic. They're using their skills and they're part of the solution. And the last thing I'll tell you is your community remembers. Later when all this is over, customers will remember that you are the company that loaned your employees skills to the frontline workers at a time when everyone else was just sitting home complaining about how bad things were. The community remembers. I had one restaurant that when I told her about redeploy, she offered to deliver a limited number of meals to doctors and nurses at the hospital every week. She could only afford so much because it costs money, but she would deliver some meals to the frontline workers of the hospital. And I have to tell you, when the restaurants reopened, she said everybody would come in and say, there's 4 restaurants in this corner, but we all know that you're the restaurant that was feeding the doctors and nurses, so we all want to pay you back. That's repurpose, retool, and redeploy. Assess your skills, assess the new needs in the world now in online education, online work, etc. Commit to upgrading your skills and find out how you can help the people on the front lines by loaning them some of your skill set during a time when you have extra time. I'll turn it back over to you now, Michelle.
Wow. I mean, that was just amazing, Jeff. I mean, this is the type of information that we need to be hearing. This is the type of insight we need to be sharing with persons who are complaining every single day. And we, as the entrepreneurs, have the solution. That's the thing about it. That's what's so mind-boggling about it. And that is why when my organization, SLUDTERA, hosted the Awaken the Entrepreneur in New event, I asked Jeff to be the speaker because this is what they need to hear. We are not supposed to be complaining just like everybody else. We are part of the solution. So what we need to do is to awaken the inventor, awaken the problem solver in each and every one of us. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. We as women have the natural instinct to find solutions to problems. That comes like by instinct, because our instinct is to nurture and to protect. So that natural instinct, compiled with our skills and talents, compiled with a problem that we are faced with, we just have a natural inclination to try to solve a problem. And as women right now in this particular program, you are in a better position than a lot of other people are right now, because you are in a position to do something to not just help yourself, but to help others. You may discover things about yourself that you did not know. And that is what the 3 R's challenges you to do. Severe, I call it severe because sometimes it's painful for some of us, introspection. And it causes us to face certain things that we didn't know was there. And maybe things that we possibly put to the back burner and completely forgot about, but now we have to bring it to the forefront. Now is the time for such a time as this.
Michelle, you are so right, and that's why I want you to do it in writing. The reason I want you to do that introspection and write your skills down is ask yourself the question, what am I able to offer the world? What are my capabilities and talents? And then be asked the hard question, am I offering? This is what I can offer the world. Am I offering it? All the things I'm capable of doing, am I giving those, am I bringing those to the world? And if you're not, this is the moment to find a chance to step up and say, I'm so capable, I'm so skilled, I'm so smart, I'm so resourceful. The world should be getting benefit of my skills. This is a great time to shine. And I completely agree with you that the natural inclination of women in business puts you in a great spot to do a lot of things that are instinctive to you that aren't always instinctive to men. This is your time to shine.
Yeah, thank you so very much for supporting me on that point. And Jeff, again, thank you so much for agreeing to assist us, here in St. Lucia, these wonderful women who are here, who are listening to you and to listening to that there are possibilities and the possibilities exist in them. And by the grace of God, they can do this. So thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us. And thank you so much for agreeing to be a mentor for these women. I mean, this is just so amazing. And I would just like to basically do something that is not typically done on calls such as this. I would like the women who we are doing this for, I would like them to unmute themselves and to tell you, the people who are here to support them, the people who are here to speak to them, the people who are here who have come to mentor them. I will allow the women who have enrolled to unmute themselves and to then say thank you to you. This is not how we typically do it, but I think it's fitting that we start out this way. We start out with a thank you, and then we move forward with the journey. So ladies who are here right now, who are part of the second installment of this course, who are taking this course right now, I would like you to please unmute yourselves and then say a great big thank you to all of these people who have volunteered their time and service to you.
Yeah, I can't believe you got Kylie.
Thank you.
So very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
inspiring.
you.
Both to you, Michelle and Mr. Hoffman. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you so much for all the wonderful information shared today.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you for all the information shared.
Okay, was that everybody? Did everybody get a chance to say thank you?
Thank you for all
Thank you.
them.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, so there are some persons who cannot unmute themselves and they have to chat. Hey, ladies, flood the chat. Thank you. I mean, nothing is too big. I mean, saying thank you is not too big for you to do. Just type it in there. If your mic doesn't work, type it in there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And ladies, I want you to know that this is for you. You understand what I'm saying? This is for you. I mean, I hear ladies every day talking about things are hard. They have their families to feed and all of this and all of that. Ladies, we have it in us. We have it in us. And we have it in each other. This is the biggest network of professional women helping and supporting women. Be glad to be part of this movement. We are not about tearing down each other. We're about supporting one another so that we can help ourselves and our communities. That is our natural, instinctive thing to do. So let us work together to get this done. So we have all of these speakers who have come together. Some are mentors who you will be engaging with after you've completed the first phase of the course. Some are persons who you'll be hearing from as co-facilitators as we go through the live sessions. So, and others, of course, are partner agencies. And at this point, I want to go straight into thanking our partner agencies for supporting this this program, this course. I want to say thank you to the U.S. Embassy Jamaica, the U.S. Department of State, 3-Day Startup, Wildlife Network, the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados, the AW Network, the AW Barbados Network, Startup Huddle St. Lucia, and all of the other agencies that are going to be assisting, such as Edge Marketing and Evolution Public Relations Management, and Building Community Capacity, and Toolings, and Flagship, and Jeff Hoffman with his 3 R's and his amazing advice. Ladies, this is at your disposal. It doesn't get better than this. It really doesn't. And if it does, by God's grace, you better grab it. This is your opportunity to make a difference for yourselves, for your businesses, and for your community. And this basically marks the end of our public orientation day. We are going to continue with our session that is just for the ladies who have enrolled, because we have a separate session where I'll be taking them through navigating the e-learning platform that we'll be using to facilitate the course. So I'd like you to stay on the call. But this is basically where we end things. And also, for those persons who are still on the call, such as our speakers, please leave your information in the chat so that our viewers and our participants can reach out to you if in case they need to. Those of you who have not done so as yet, please put your information in the chat. Any links that you would like to share with us that our participants can utilize and that you can share that would be beneficial to them, please put in those links so that these ladies can utilize this information. So women here who are, again, women here who have enrolled in the course, please remain on this call. We are here until 12 officially. I will be going through the presentation of showing you how to log into the e-learning platform that we'll be using for the course. I just want to give you a quick run through as to what the topics are for the course again. So we have starting your dream, exploring your dream, planning your dream, making your dream, marketing your dream, pricing your dream, selling your dream, managing your dream, profiting from your dream, keeping track of your dream, funding your dream, formalizing your dream, and last but not least, turning your dream into a reality. And we're going to infuse this with Jeff Hoffman's 3 R's for small business survival. So this is what you get out of this installment of the course: repurpose, retool, redeploy your dream. And ladies, I would just like to say an immense thank you for coming onto the call today. Some of you had engagements and you basically put aside your engagements to be here. So that again is commitment. It really is. As Joanna Farmer said earlier, that is commitment. Showing up is the first step. So I want to say congratulations to you ladies who have made it thus far. So to the rest of you who are speakers and whatnot, I want to thank you again so much for joining us. You are free to leave the call. Thank you so much again for speaking with us. I'm going to call out the names of the speakers again. Thank you so much to Lisa Yard, Lisa Joa here, Essence Lofton, Joanna Farmer, Vanessa Philip, Kyle Fishman, Lauren Soka, Emma Charles, Ling Ling Fung, and last but not least, Mr. Jeff Hoffman. Thank you so very much for being on the call with us. We'll be engaging with you later on during the extension of the course. So I'm going to bid you a farewell for now. So those who have not left on their own, I'm going to remove them from the chat so that we ladies can have our one-on-one session so that you can get familiar with the platform. Okay, so those of you who are from the first cohort, thank you again for coming. Thank you again for joining us. You can leave your information in the chat, your well wishes and everything with the ladies so that they can know who you are, and you are free to leave. Thank you again so much for joining us. The members of the first cohort, thank you for joining us. Okay, so I am now going to go through the chat, make sure that everybody who is here, who is supposed to be here, is there. And thank you so much, Denise, for joining us. Thank you. Okay, so I see Ajel, I see Shireen, I see Ronetta, I see Diane, I see Flavia, I see Asha, I see Camille, I see Leonie, I see Sancha, Melissa, Kriya, Lisa Cassius, I see Jamik, I see Lydia, I see Jermaine, Blue, Keisha, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to have to boot you out for now. I'm going to have to boot you out for, okay. Keisha, thank you so much for joining us. I see Abigail. Who else do I see? I see Vincia, I see Olivia, I see Donna, Mava, Cheryl. Okay, now I can't pronounce this name properly. Please let me know. Please correct me. Is it Nakal? I'm not sure the pronunciation of the name. Please correct me of the correct pronunciation. Is it Nachal Alexander? So please correct me.
That's me. I have two names. I use one name on Facebook, but I actually put my first name on the course. So
okay.
My first name is Nachal, but my Facebook name is Lydia Alexander.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to be sure that I didn't mispronounce the name. Okay, awesome. All right, so those of you who are here on this call. Oh, there's one more that I missed, but is represented by the name J7 Neo. I'm not sure who that is. J7 Neo, who is that? Who is J7 Neo? Okay, so I'm going to just end the recording for this first part of the session. I just wanted to make sure that all our ladies were here, and I'm going to end the recording with regards to the orientation day, and then we're going to continue with regards to our walkthrough with the program. So again, those of you who have been watching live, who have tuned in, who have joined in, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of this day, and we're looking forward to engaging with you. Please keep up to date with the Dream to Reality Professional Business Training course on Facebook. Like the page, and also please support the ladies as they go through the journey. Thank you so much again for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording now.